and then we will start. It's coming.
One thing to ask, I don't know if the setting for like musician setting is something I need to do my side or you do your side.
I think it's you do your side. Do you want to just check it now and see what the sound is
Okay.
like?
Yeah. So let me see if we can find that.
It's on the microphone area usually.
Yeah, so maybe in audio options or something like that.
Yeah, it's in so bottom left of the Zoom box. It'll be, I think, select a microphone or select a speaker or no, microphone modes, that's it. Noise removal default, I think it is.
Select a speaker, leave the computer. Where did you say you saw it? Sorry.
So in your Zoom area, bottom left-hand corner where your audio microphone.
Yeah, so click the microphone.
Yeah, there's a little arrow besides it.
Yeah.
Click the microphone, and it says on the third option, it says microphone modes.
Oh, I don't actually have that option on my side.
Okay.
It says select a microphone, select a speaker, and then it says leave computer audio options, test
Okay,
speaker.
maybe I've got to make you co-host, then you should be able to have it then.
I was just thinking because at some points I feel like I'll probably want to share some sound or some music as an
Yeah,
example of
amazing.
something.
Amazing. That would
So I
be
think
amazing.
if it's not, it might. I mean, I'll strike. Maybe I'll just try an instrument now, and if you can hear it, then maybe it's already set accordingly.
Yep. I've just made
Can you hear the guitar?
That's perfect.
You can
Yes.
hear that, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, maybe the
Oh,
settings are
gosh,
already set. That's good.
oh, you're in for a treat, everybody. You're in for a treat. Okay, so we are now live on YouTube and I will start. So welcome everybody to another amazing talk on the Positive Future for Health podcast. I'm your host. I'm your host, Althea Finch. I'm the creator of the Pain-Free Method. And you can find out more about that and how to release chronic pain and conditions by tuning into you at painfreedom.co.uk. And today, on today's podcast, I invite natural health experts and positive thinkers to come and share their wisdom with all of us. On today's podcast, we have Ashley Phillipson. I didn't know your surname, Ashley, and he's such a special soul. You're going to see. Wanted it all very organic, how we talk today, and I'm all up for that. I've been to some of his medicine ceremonies, and it's been life-changing. And I'm not saying that lightly. That it's been life-changing and profound, and something I've never done before, and it's been absolutely incredible and positively affected my life. So that's where we met. And he runs the most incredible music school online as well, totally different. So I'll leave that in suspense in the air. Ashley, tell us about yourself. You've shared a little bit on the sign up page, but tell us about yourself. How did you get into all the things that you're doing?
So really, it's been a journey since I was very young. I mean, I was around spirituality and esoteric ideas and concepts from birth, really. My father founded a company 50 years ago called Alchemy, which was really based around his passions. He was a creative who was into the kind of more gothic punk sort of side of spirituality and the occult sort of esotericism when he was young. So he would make figurines. It started with Warhammer originally, actually. So he started off by painting Warhammer and these sort of figurines, and then this branched into him making his own things. So without delving too much into that, my dad has a gothic spiritual esoteric costume jewelry based company. I mean, it does artwork and branches into many things, but yeah, originally it was a costume jewelry, so to decorate yourself with spiritual symbolism and things like that. So I grew up around those things. Yeah, seeing that. So it was all very normal to me going into the subconscious. So actually, um, my journey began before I knew it, really, in regards to that. Yeah, so my mother was very spiritual but very holistic. She was a take no shit businesswoman, for lack of better words. She
Okay.
was like, yeah, she was a focused, driven woman, but she was very spiritual and holistic. So I also grew up with things like aromatherapy, naturopathy, just natural ways of, like, you get sunburn or something. It's raw yogurt, chamomile, mixing oils, herbs,
Perhaps you ought
natural
to get your
things.
mum on the podcast too.
Yeah, so I grew up with all of these sorts of things. So until I was, I guess, maybe primary school sort of era, I thought that was what every mum did, actually. And it was, obviously, originally this is the way that we all lived before the modern systems changed our perceptions and knowledge as well, because everybody starts to let go of knowledge as we're given um, other alternatives. When we're given information or options that are more convenient, or at least appear more convenient, we become lazy and forget the ways. Much like
Mm.
most of us probably grew up knowing all of the important phone numbers that we needed in in our minds. We knew directions to the places that we actually needed to get to. And
Yeah.
all of these things have been let go, as we have phone books and sat navs and all these things. So the same principles and in this life as our modern societies have guided us away from these natural things. I've stayed more in alignment with it. Of course, I went on the same journey and went astray myself, but because I grew up with it, it wasn't completely removed from my upbringing. It was part of it. And so
Yeah.
when I got on my own spiritual path, which probably um, started really with my 60s psychedelic exploration of music. I was a hip hop head, so I was into music very young. I used to love dancing to Michael Jackson and all of these things. And then I became your typical teenager, against the world, I guess. And hip hop really made my heart sing. So I got into beatboxing, rapping, and from an intellectual perspective, I was really into the rappers that had a strong message and that were intelligent, that came from a place of knowledge. So I was always, even into that, I was like, study. It was about kind of intellectual, clever, um, being smart with your wording that had meaning and purpose and a bit more depth. So um, and wit, using your intelligence. So it was kind of like sharpening the knife, sharpening the tool. Of the mind through rapping, actually, because I was a spontaneous artist. So this is freestyle. This means very much the same as when someone's channeling or tuned into something, in the present
Mm.
moment. It's very present. So I learned that through hip hop. So then when I got into my other music and got into meditation, and one of my friends was into yoga, and this was before the terms of spirituality. So um, I'm 18 years old, 17 years old. My friends and I are known as like hippies. I was known as a hip hop hippie because you're like, oh, you're a bit street, but you're also into this 60s psychedelic thing. So I was having a lot of spiritual experiences, but wasn't being able to relate it with people around me, actually. Because it wasn't common, there wasn't YouTube and things that I could go and find relatable things
Mm.
outside of books that I was reading. So the Tibetan Book of Life and Death, I'm reading that at 18, learning about the breath.
Wow.
It's where I first learned about unconscious breath.
So
Um,
really, your parents brought you into this amazing world, full and strong, because that's where you grew up. Because most people, I mean, if I think back at my 18s, I wasn't into that sort of thing at all, and I guess a lot of people weren't. And I find it interesting that you talk about, which is our reality, that we're pulled away from nature. But I'm guessing, because you had a very strong beginning of nature connection. then you took up on these kind of things quite early, so 18.
Yeah, exactly. I think what I would say with it is neither of my parents were necessarily on the surface. They weren't like hippies or anything like this. You know, they weren't like your typical like spiritual hippie parents as such.
Yeah.
They were both business driven and like entrepreneurial in many ways. But they both came from um, I wouldn't say like poor backgrounds, but not well, you know, not well off backgrounds or anything. They were both the first in their actual generations to break the chain, build something that was, you know, more abundant and successful.
Oh,
Um, and so they broke the chain there. So on the surface, they were actually, you know, kind of entrepreneurial business people in many ways. Just my mum was very holistic, but I guess the way I look uh, at her nature is much like people say about the lion. The lion doesn't go around saying it's a lion. So my mum didn't go around saying she's spiritual or anything, and she'd be wouldn't wearing these labels in any way. Um, but if I got sick, she'd be using plants, herbs, natural things. You know, she would go and see mediums. She would get advice from a medium. We'd have mediums come to a house because my mum felt the presence of a spirit here, and they'd come and say, "Yes, your old neighbour is here," or you know. So these things were quite normal, but it was also just woven into day to day
yeah,
life. So
yeah.
it wasn't something that was like, oh, this is a way to be. It was just kind of normal. So actually, I learned these things more subconsciously. The same way with my dad. Um, he's a very deep person and like very spiritual in many ways. But my relationship as a teenager was quite, as most I imagine teenage boys with their father, there was a bit of conflict. So it was confusing me how this very spiritual, the person who created these very spiritual things wasn't the relationship that I was having because it was modern
Mm,
day. So actually, through my own rebelliousness of all teenagers, I went in my own direction of exploring these things in a kind of far out way. You know, I was enjoying psychedelic things and having spiritual experiences. Um, and piecing things together myself through my own study and reading, but
yeah.
over um, over my own journey, really of something a strong journey. So actually, through the loss of my mother, now over 15 years ago, it
Mm,
kind of woke me up to something I hadn't considered, and this was health. So I was into, you know, health of mind and way of thinking, but I wasn't really thinking so much about physical health. So this was a wake up call to that. And actually, I started going into rabbit holes of studying health and the health industry. And this took me down all of the Illuminati rabbit holes, the big pharma, all of these things.
I
But
do
at a
too.
very young age, you know, in my early 20s. So it wasn't common. It wasn't, you know, there wasn't all this available content around these things. So I kind of delved into that. And this really awoke my journey with um, conscious spirituality. And this is where I started
Okay.
learning practices and modalities and getting into making my body physically strong and healthy, and everything began to weave actually through this. So
Because
um,
you said one time that you spend a lot of time taking care of yourself and meditating and looking after yourself. And I think this is so important in this crazy world with all this extreme triggers out there. I think it's so important. And I wanted to mention, you live in the most extraordinary place. Extraordinary place. Could you just talk about a little bit about where you live, if that's okay?
yeah. So I've been living here for coming up to 5 years now. So where I live is it's called Ulverscroft Priory, or originally it was a St Mary's Abbey. So it's a 900-year-old priory, a monk's abbey. So originally it was um, hermits living here. So hermits of spiritual practice. It wasn't so much a congregation of a group. And it's changed many times over the years. Now the main abbey is the ruins of my garden and the garden grounds. I live in part of the old living quarters of the abbey, so where the monks would have stationed themselves. Um, Very beautiful, very mystical, but it's been a holy or spiritual site as long as it was documented. So usually these kind of abbeys that the hermits built were built on sacred
Mm,
druidic sites. So
mm,
although I can't find the druidic history because there's not much documentation of these things, and often it was covered up when they build a new monastery or abbey over somewhere sacred that was druidic. They don't say, "Oh, by the way, we put it on top
uh,
of." So although I can't find that direct history, there's evidence of many things that show me that. Um, the way I see it is, I feel like I ended up here because I'm bringing back um, the very magic and dance that was practiced here by original Gnostics. So, um, so-called religious or spiritual practice um, would have been very much intertwined with esoteric spirituality, magic, incantations, these things, which is something my heart is very woven into. I'm into natural magic, practical magic. So, working in harmony with nature. And when I say practical or pragmatic magic, I mean something that will help you day to day with day to day things, simple things. It doesn't
mm,
have to be like, when we think of magic, we often think of very mystical, far out things, which is of course interwoven into that. Um, but much like astrology, magic is very much the same in that people think of astrology in this far out spiritual, mystical readings and intergalactic alignment reading, kind of relatable things. But actually, let's go back to the greatest astrologers, William Lilly and these sorts of people. They were royal astrologers. They were casting charts very often for practical, pragmatic things. The king might be like, "I've lost one scarf. Can you help me find it?" and sure enough, the astrologer would be able to cast a chart and say, "Oh, that crown is in the spare pantry," or whatever it may be. So it's very practical and
Sarah
pragmatic.
says this is sorry, Ash. Sarah said
Uh,
this is an enchanting talk. You're
yeah, I
placing.
mean,
It
what?
is, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And to touch upon what one of my missions, right, within the many missions of them all, through sharing music, through sharing art, through sharing spirituality. Actually, I want to do my best to reawaken the magic that's everywhere in life for us all. That most of us, not all of us, but most of us, let go of these notions as something imaginative that we held as children. And actually, to
I
touch
hear
upon
you.
that, our connotation, our association with the imagination. So we, in our culture and society, we use the terms imagined. Oh, you imagined it, meaning it's not real. You made it up in your mind. Whereas the real truth around imagination is our reality is constructed based on what we imagine. So
Yeah,
this is actually back to front what we're conditioned to think about the imagination.
absolutely.
We're led to believe, shut it down. That's childlike. It's immature. They blur these things together. So the
Mm,
immaturity, saying that it's this, when actually the true magician, the true master of mind, is a master of imagination. Is somebody who really understands the imagination is the key. It's the doorway to everything that we seek. It's the doorway to everything we wish to achieve. Something has to be imagined first. So um,
absolutely profound. And you don't just talk. You actually walk your walk and walk your talk, and you live by what you teach. So actually, you came in from this early influence with your parents, and then got really into music and discovered and explored your own understanding about everything. And then so your dear mum left us, and that kind of projected you into all natural health kind of
mm,
things.
yeah.
And is that when you got into the medicine? When did it come to the part that you wanted to help people and guide people? Or was that
Um,
interwoven?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's something uh, that's also very natural because my mother, I mean, it's like I've still got a recording somewhere of her answer machine, because it was a thing where you don't think so much about it, but the voice, having someone's voice, the signature that's within it. But when you would call her phone, it'd be like, "Hello, everybody's mother here," and this is the very much the nature. So she mothered many people that weren't her children. Our house became a very open door for everybody. She welcomed everyone in. Um, she even ended up becoming like mother figure, support figure to some of her biggest clients that are multimillionaire business people, because she just holds that figure. She's strong, but she's also very soft. It's kind of, I really feel she held the archetype of this of the divine feminine. She was
Wow.
fierce and strong. You would not want to, I say cross her, like wrong term, but you want her to be on your side, on your team. But she was so soft and motherly. So actually, I feel her spirit so strongly in me, and it's always been in my nature. Be like that. Be the host. I like to welcome people, look after people.
Mhm.
So naturally, when I guess my life started taking that direction, more people actually began to gravitate to ask questions. But again, it was also natural because I've also been somebody who likes to read a lot and think and ponder. So people would ask me for advice a lot anyway. So it was all kind of interwoven. And then as I
I see
studied and
that,
delved
yeah.
more, yeah, and the
Good.
more I delved in, the more kind of I had to share. So yeah, certainly the journey with my mother opened me up to health and vitality more. And although I was already into music and sound, it opened up. My mother actually she went to Tibet and she bought some singing bowls. So this was
Oh,
2010. No, 2009. So that was when I got given my first Tibetan singing bowl. My first introduction was through that. My mother gifted me one of the bowls, and I started playing around with it. Um, but this was like a new journey, but also revisiting, because with sound, as a someone who was into hip hop and sounds, I used to explore making sounds. So I'd be like, oh, how do I make that sound? So I'd be exploring making all these weird sounds. And I also liked to do voices. So I'd be doing character voice. Oh, hello, how are you? And don't you do that. I'm not falling for and all of these different things. I was a characterful animated being. So I'd already been exploring using my voice and sounds
mm.
a lot, but in a different from a different intention or perspective. It was more just playful exploration. So then when I started getting into sound healing and using the voice and traditional cultures, I was like, oh wow, that thing I was doing when I thought I was doing a robot sound or a Chewbacca kind of sound, I was like, oh, this is a similar place to Mongolian throat singing. And so, yeah, I realized I've been doing these things, but through different ways of discovery. So everything just began to cross over and weave together.
Because your whole being is music these days. The part that I know of you, and so Sarah's asking, is it sound baths? I mean, what instruments? You play pretty much everything. It's just extraordinary. And it's
Yeah,
really explorative music that you play, isn't it? Because you've dabbled with music all the way through your life with the hip hop and all these different areas, and you play for hours and hours and hours and hours. It's just I don't know how your fingers can take it, like a guitar or something. I know I can't, but can you talk about your music side and the instruments and
yeah.
how
So
you help
with the
people?
sound, I mean, I was already into music, but my journey of what kind of music has taken many directions. I mean, initially, like I said, it was probably Michael Jackson dancing my heart out. Then it was, this journey of hip hop, and kind of intelligent ways of phrasing lyrics and having wisdom in the music, knowledge within the lyrics. Then the kind of psychedelic 60s era that took me into the hippie sort of phase. It was very much the Beatles, the Doors, Jimi Hendrix, listening to these far out concepts and also pondering around that and the things I was reading. Yeah, I felt a separation with a lot of my friends in my journey. Like when we would have psychedelic experiences, I was having these mind-blowing spiritual experiences, but they were kind of going, whoa, my hands are massive. It was a kind of a bit of a different experience. So slowly I'd be going into another direction. So then when this journey began, with more conscious spirituality, more aware of what I was actually reading, doing, and being mindful and thinking about physical health, it branched into the sound healing. So then it started to weave over. My music was already in this air of journeying music to be able to kind of meditate, relax to, or be creative to. So I was making a lot of instrumental music, playing lots of instruments, learning and exploring, always picking up new instruments. But then over time through the plants, I was already working with them from very young. But my awareness, when I got into health, I became aware of grandmother medicine, or, you know, some people may say ayahuasca. So then I was researching, okay, I've got to go to South America. I need to go to the Amazon. And this was like, you know, around 2010, 2011, I started thinking these things. But it felt very far away and I didn't know how to start this journey. But I was already working with medicines anyway, with the medicine of this land, the children of light, or the fungi, and have, you know, for spiritual use. So as I was traveling a lot to India, one or two times a year, my spirituality through that was growing. I was then buying more singing bowls and instruments and exploring them. And then I began to just share it with friends. So this expanded, and then the calling came. I got invited to Brazil, actually, to my cousin's wedding in 2017. And I was like, I'm meant to go to the jungle now. I'm already going to Brazil. This is the time. So this is where I kind of started working with the grandmother, or ayahuasca. And this is actually where, from that moment, I'd say I was already on a very deep spiritual journey and exploring all of these things. But this is where there was a big change in me. Of life became ceremony. Everything became more conscious.
Because you really live it, don't you? Your whole being, your whole life, your everyday, you walk your talk.
Yeah, I think if you're on this path, it really is important, because what I see or have experienced a lot is dipping the toe in and out. It's people are kind of unpinning the self a lot, you know. If we're living it, and this doesn't have to be really like a strict rigidness. I'm a very Piscean, floaty person. I kind of, you know, I drift with the feelings of the moment all the time, but I still have structure. So I have routine, I have structure. I'm consistent with my healing work, with my self evaluation, with my shadow work, my meditation, my breath work. This doesn't mean that I do this at this time in the morning each day, or I start, you know, it varies. It varies a lot. And I organically flow with life, because, yeah, life isn't like that. And actually,
Yeah.
yeah, I think modern way of perceiving, trying to box everything, put everything into these structured ways, is what causes most of our issues, because it's not natural. A good way of explaining this is through music. I used to get confused with music because it felt so wrong trying to play a song a set way, like it's in a box. Oh no, that's right and wrong. No, you don't do that there. You do that here. And now I understand it very much so. It's because life isn't like that. Nature is not like that. Like from afar, it may appear like that. The rose bush, we always know it's a rose bush, but the roses are in different places. It's got a different number of leaves, a different number of X and Y. The shade of the colors are slightly different depending on the soil it's in. Everything is subtly different. So music to me was always like that. The same
Mm.
song that I play, one time it might be 3 minutes long, one time it's 7 minutes long. You know, it may have three verses, it may have one, depending on the moment. It's still the same song to me.
Because you were
Um,
saying that when you first learnt music, it was very structured, and although you did learn it the sort of the mainstream way, you said that you felt it was very limiting, and you weren't sort of free to play, and that's been the origins of creating your music school. Can you talk about this area of?
yeah. So what you touched upon there actually, this was in the last 5 years really when I started learning specific songs. But before that, I've been a musician for, you know, 15 plus years, and I've never played a song, never played one
Okay,
set song in a set way before
okay.
that. So I could play 20 odd instruments and many styles of music that I could play, whether it's like hip hop, jazz, blues, funk, you know, all of these different flavors and feelings. But I'd never played a song anyway. Specifically, it was when I was learning medicine songs, and it's like, oh no, you've got to play this because it's carrying this frequency or this energy. So then I was like, oh, okay. Then it was kind of like, oh, this doesn't feel natural. But now I've adopted my way of learning the song, but giving it my own expression and playing it in my own way. But much like life, I mean, you'll notice it if you watch a classical guitarist. The way they play is more like life. So this may be the dynamics of volume are getting louder and quieter. They may get faster and slower. So you couldn't play with a click or a tempo because they're speeding up and slowing down all of the time.
Yeah.
And there's delays. Some bits it's like there's a delay, a bit like a wave crashing. There's an envelope. There's an overlap.
Mm.
So they play like that because that's life. Life is like that. They're mirroring
I love that you
nature.
say that.
Mm,
I love that you said. I mean, I've got one of those metronome things, and I started to use it, trying to get myself into a pace. But actually, I play just like you said. I want to just savor the flavor, and then do
mm.
it fast or slow. And Rachel's asked if you'd play the song about the masculine supporting the feminine. She
If
doesn't.
I will play that song,
Yeah.
you asking me to play that song? You mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I can. I will play it. Not just this moment. I'll play it like a in a few moments. But yeah, what you touched upon there about the metronome. The idea really is play with the metronome to strengthen our internal clock, so that we can dance all over it in any direction and bend the time as we choose. So
Okay.
it's very much like learning the rules so that we can break them with confidence. Because yeah, when it comes to this, we're confidently breaking these invisible rules that we've created.
So tell us about the
Um,
music school that you offer, as well as all
yeah,
your beautiful, because your music is actually medicine, isn't it? I know when I did the ceremony with you that it's I'd never done something like that before, and when I struggled in moments, your music, I just seemed to sort of connect with your music, and you have said very clearly that you play as medicine. It's you play it says medicine, and
mm.
so it's really extraordinary. But could you tell us about the school that
Yeah. So
you
it's a
run?
fusion of music and magic. The musical mystery school. It's a mystery school. It's a school of knowledge and learning, but um, it's a crossover of magic and music. So essentially, the slogan is the Hogwarts of sound and music. This is because we're infusing musical learning with also magical learning techniques that we can practice, which is using modern science or ancient magic, whichever way you want to perceive it, or whichever way you find it easiest to perceive it, because it's one and the
Um,
same. Modern science separated from the magic and says science is something that proves the magic to not be true, but actually science is experiential experiments to prove magic, essentially things that are hard to understand. So it's a fusion of that. It's wanting to
so
bring it
full
back, bring the
immersion,
magic
isn't it?
back into people's lives.
Sorry, Ash. Bringing
Um,
magic back into people's lives, and as Sarah
yeah,
said, it's full immersion as you live your life, as you demonstrate in your living. That it's full immersion, isn't it? Full immersion into music. It's not just playing an instrument. And does somebody have to be able to play anything at all when they come into your school, or is it? starting fresh or an
No,
experienced
the way
musician
I'm
or
teaching, it is open to every level, because it's like I'm not coming and saying, "Can you do this?" Where someone who's just beginning might go, "Well, that's too advanced for me to practice necessarily." Most of the teachings will be um, it's conceptual, so the actual ability of where you're at doesn't matter. It's like you play from where you're at. So if I suggested, just say with guitar, for example, if I'm suggesting to just play something that feels comfortable, everyone plays with whatever their level is at. So yeah, it's open to everybody. But I'd also say, if you, even if you're not wanting to learn music, you're intrigued by the magical aspect, the truth is that everything is sound, everything is vibration and frequency. So through just learning the things we're teaching, you're learning more about life. And
Mm.
the magical practices, although some of them are intended to be using your music to help your musical growth or creative expression, it can be used for anything. You could use it for your art, you could use it for your cooking skills. It's all applicable to anything, because it's learning fundamentals of magic and sound and music and spirituality, how to apply it to our lives. So someone might just be really interested in the things I talk about sigils, symbols, ancient magical symbols, and things that we can use to activate. They might just be interested in doing the guided meditations, or joining some of the live music sessions, because we'll do 1 to 4 live music sessions a month. This might be half
and
an hour, it might be an hour of live concert,
they're really
ceremonial music.
beautiful.
Mm,
Ceremonial, isn't it? And it's just magical. I mean, it's not very expensive at all. You're charging a very low cost for a monthly fee, and it's just magical, everyone. To when you do your live musical experiences, it's just sending, and then you're talking about the different aspects of the magical side of things and the sigils and things, and I'm finding that my heart is opening, my mind is opening. It's like it's solidifying who I am, but it's opening me up. And as you say, it's not just for music, really. It's making me thoughtful and who I am in my being and my behavior and
mm,
things. So it feels
mm.
like it's just gently opening me up as well as strengthening who I am. It's extraordinary. And so so you help people through teach people through your music, and you teach people through your song and through your ceremonies, and also you have created the most wonderful lotions and potions, which I'll show you a few, everybody. There's this little you've created many, isn't it? I think this is the blue flower essence. Is that right? Is that the blue flower one?
Um, oh no, it's the sipper. So this is often it's a resin from a tree that we use for smudging a lot. So for the smoke, this was an extraction. So it's something that clears the energy. So yeah, clears and grounds. The blue forest is one made from all of the blue flowers of the forest, all of the bluebells, all of
Is that
the
that one?
yes, yes. So it has blue lotus in it, but it's all of the blue flowers from spring and summer that grow through the forest, the bluebells, forget-me-nots. So it carries the essence of these flowers. I make
It's
lots of different
wonderful.
potions with the plants, but they're extractions, so they bring the energy of those plants, and most of them are aura cleansing, energy resetting, good
That's
before
why
meditation, and
I
yeah,
spray it a
yeah.
lot, and I feel like I just know that it balances my aura. So if I'm being a bit stressed or out of sorts, I spray it on myself. And also you do chocolates with a special kind of chocolates. Um,
Yeah, so with that, it can be used for microdosing or just our own personal journey. But all the things that I make, so when I make them, I hold a strong intention. It's very much like a mother putting love into her cooking. I sing usually to everything that I create with the intention why I'm singing. So infusing it um,
Amazing.
with what we may call an Icaro. So just to touch a small amount upon this. So the music, medicine music, or the Icaros, the spirit songs, these things, they one of the reasons they have the healing effect is because they have geometry. They have specific frequency, intention, and geometry. And often this geometry um, it's multi-dimensional. So we're thinking triangular, a cube, or something 3D or 4D. It's much more like 4D, 5D. So like a tesseract, which would be a cube folding in on itself infinitely, like a donut going round and round. So they have moving geometry. So what they allow you to do, they allow the subconscious to switch off and your body to journey. So in a ceremony, you may actually start having visions and journey down the tunnels that are being created by the sounds. Some have the ability to go in and repair things. Some have the ability to bring you back into your heart. So just on that, I'm going to just give a small example of a spontaneous ikro, which is like a plant spirit song, just so you can have a taste of those things experientially.
That was beautiful.
So just to give a small taste.
I feel like it sends me I think about, the ancient connections from back and back and back and back, and the sound and the people that created this. I don't know, it's just that's my experience of it. Deeply
Yeah, I
connected.
mean, with
Thank
many
you.
of these melodies, we can learn them, specific ones, but there's also, when we learn to kind of tune in, what happens is we pick up ancient melodies, either of the plants, there may be melodies our ancestors sung. So sometimes I can feel a being that wants to sing it, and it's not even me. So my voice will actually change certain times. And maybe to a listener, they think, oh, you're doing a voice much like when I do a character. But actually, no, when I get out the way, I'm listening the same way you are. And actually, yeah, I can feel a being. Sometimes it's like an old granddad that's singing a soothing lullaby to help, like you're rocking a baby to sleep or something. So I can feel
Beautiful.
the essence and intention of the melody.
Beautiful. And
But
Rachel,
so many songs. Say
Rachel
that
wanted to
again.
come in. Rachel wanted to come in to ask a question or to talk to you.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Rachel. Try now.
Yeah, thanks, Althea, and hi, Ash, and everyone else. Yeah,
Hello.
we're going to have to, Althea and I are going to have to create the Ash fan club. I can see because we're both your biggest fans. But I just wanted to mention because that ceremony that you were talking about, Althea, I had a recording of that, and actually on Monday night, as I went to sleep, I went to bed early, just as a sort of healing thing. I listened to it, the 6 hours of it. And it was so powerful, and it just took me straight there to that incredible music, and your songs, Ash, just so incredibly powerful. They are literally, yeah, sound medicine. So it would be great to hear that beautiful song about the it's like the divine masculine supporting the feminine, where it's like, you are the wave, I am the shore. That song, I forget the lyrics. Do you know the one? I mean,
yeah. Shine, it's called. Yeah.
it's so beautiful. I don't know if you've got time, or because I've got to leave at 12:29 because I've got a call starting at 12:30. By the way, so if I leave suddenly,
I'll try and get at least a mini
rude.
version of it in, even if I don't sing the full length.
That would be really beautiful. Yeah. Thank you. Lots of love.
Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, and I do encourage anybody who's feeling the vibes of Ash and what he's talking about, something interesting, go and have a look at his stuff, get in touch. I mean, I can't tell you so strongly that it's been a profound experience that I've never experienced in my life before. And it's been helping me unpeel from my layers of who I am, learning about myself, adjusting, coming back into my soul, connecting with my spirit, and really naturally, not weird or wacky or anything like that, just really naturally beautiful plant help. And through Ash's incredible music, just it goes deep. And yeah, we do have to finish on time as well. So we will be finishing at the max at the 29 as well. So Ash, what can people expect? Why do people come to you? What sort of things can people get help for? Why might they come into your world, as well as the beautiful music school, of course, but
I mean, the beautiful thing with ceremony, with any of the therapies that I do, because I mean, ceremony is a strong focus, but the weekend that's just gone, both Saturday and Sunday, I had clients that come for what I call a spiritual spa, or fully immersive day of physical therapy. So yeah, what that entails is like we tune into what might be best for the person, but this could be, so always we would start with cacao, the intention, usually maybe light the fire and make the intention for the day. Or if it's the beginning of a series of therapies, then maybe we'll do that, the intention in alignment with that. But start with cacao, and then reflexology. Everything is aromatherapy based as well, and then this flows into a chi flow aromatherapy based meridian massage. So it's like following long strokes, following the lines, opening up the meridian channels. So through this, it's combining acupressure with long meridian based like chi movement flow. And then from that, we just drink more cacao after that, which is a couple of hours of therapy, preparing the body physically and energetically with the acupressure and energy channels. And then we would take a shamanic breathwork journey, a guided breathwork journey led with chanting and rattles and drumming and everything, and some guitar songs. And then from that, I'll flow straight into a sound healing to bring them down, to ground them into the body. So it's anything between 4 and 5 hours, depending on the individual. Sometimes it's 6.5 hours, depending if they have a lot to share. I don't rush people. So I really enjoy these full power days. And these are also accessible for people who won't try plant medicines as well, or aren't open to it. But equally so, I do the integration and multifaceted therapy. So someone might want the sessions anyway, but often it's after a retreat, they want some support. So I usually do 4 to 5 sessions online. These are around an hour. They're very intuitive. So some I might be singing Icaros for it, doing a guided meditation. Some I might hypnotize you and take you into a visualization. Some I may get you breathing, but I won't take you on a full breathwork journey until we've done a few in person and I'm comfortable with how you respond and you're comfortable with how you respond. Then I will happily do some online afterwards. But most of it is not deep shamanic breathwork. Most of it will be like hit like a breath to bring you present, or more subtle versions of breathing, but they're multifaceted. So we talk, but it's also very intuitive and using sound, breathing, and many things. But I'm really actually enjoying that and how powerful it can be, because I've been a bit rigid actually in my old school ways up until really the last year where I'm like, no, I'm not doing those things online. I want to be in person. If I'm doing a healing, I want them to be right there or supporting somebody. But actually, through letting go of my attachment to why it needs to be in person, I'm having really profound experiences and witnessing great growth and change that I'm able to support people with,
And of
and
course, you can
realizing that I
connect.
wouldn't
Of
anywhere.
course, you
Yeah,
can
you can be
connect
anywhere.
anywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
And how do people get in touch with you? What's your website or your contact, Ash? How do people reach out to you?
Yeah, so there's a community group that I have where people can hear about a lot of the works, but a lot of it's personal through WhatsApp. So people recommending and just sharing my contact, because I also prefer that word of mouth. If somebody's recommended because they benefit from the works I do, whether it's a retreat, a medicine ceremony, whether it's one-to-one sessions, therapy, um, all of these different things. If it's come through someone's recommendation, then it's usually better for the person and for myself, because I know that they've recommended someone who I've already been supporting, and it allows someone to open more to trust, because this work really is deeply rested in trust and the belief. So if you trust in me and what I have to share, the medicine that I have, and you believe what I have to share, then we can work together much better, And
Yes.
if I can share an idea with you of something that may help transform, and you can resonate with it, it's going to work 10 times better. So yeah, through word of mouth, I find the best.
When I
Yeah,
was
but people can through
when I was getting
Instagram as
your
well, and so on. Yeah,
Instagram as well, and I'll put all these links in the show notes so everybody can get in contact with you. I mean,
yeah,
when I've had help from you, I didn't realize, but I had a lot of fear in me, and I even feel it now when you talk about reflexology and clearing the meridian lines and things. I mean, I'd love to have that sort of thing, but I have this fear jump up in me, like, oh, what is that? I mean, people, I find in my own work that we hold on to things, and it's scary to let go and change sometimes.
mm.
How do you support somebody through that? Like, and Sarah's asking specifically about MS, for example, or some kind of holding or blocks or fear. How do you help people in that it's not easy for them to let go and to
So
come
to
to their
respond
peace?
to that question, but actually just to touch upon the MS first. So with sound therapy, I've worked with people with MS and fibromyalgia with amazing results. So I can definitely say sound healing can work for that. Um, I've I've yet to be able to speak with other people that have had the experiences that I have, like practitioners. But I feel from my experience, I always work with antique Tibetan bowls. So these are very, very powerful Tibetan bowls, antique ones. So they have, very low, lots of really powerful frequencies. I feel it's these bowls that will really help with that, because they are very finely tuned to the nervous system. So I believe, although all sound therapy instruments will bring some peace to the nervous system, I think these specifically for these kind of conditions. So I'm based in the East Midlands in Leicester, but we can connect and talk more personally about this, so I can answer specific questions for you and share, how I feel about that. In regards to people's fear, now it's very, very common for us all to not trust and doubt someone who's saying they're a trusted figure, because our whole society is based on that. All the people that tell us we can trust them, we actually cannot trust them, and they lie about all the things they say. So I think through all of us, there's an inherent distrust automatically when someone is in a position where we should trust them or we need to trust them. So I think that's natural. I also think very strongly for the female towards the masculine, because the collective thing through the patriarchy, which is actually why this song came about. It's my feeling about the masculine supporting the feminine. So because Rachel has got about 2 minutes, I'm just going to sing a small bit of the song with the lyrics, so you can hear the lyrics. I'm not going to sing the whole song.
We have to
Um,
stop in 2 minutes as well, Ash.
Okay, so I'll just sing a small amount of the lyrics. So this summarizes that up, and it's through, I know through my being and through being myself, people will learn that they can trust, because it's authentic, and that's what really sings. You be the flower, and I'll be the sun, giving me my reason to shine. Oh, shine like one. You be the river, and I'll be the riverbed, so you can flow and be free from your way. So all of the lyrics, they're just about supporting, being the most supportive that you can be. If you want to hear the full essence of this song, you can stream it on Spotify. This isn't a plug, but it is at the same time. So Ash Maraki. So Ash Maraki, you can find my music, my Instagram, where I share a lot of these things and the sounds. I haven't got time to sing the whole song, but just to give a little taste of the expression. It's about
Beautiful,
supporting
Ash.
those from a pure place of good intention.
Beautiful, Ash, beautiful. It's been a really profound and delightful podcast talking to you. And I tried to sort of, get you to touch on the different pieces of what
There's
you
so many.
offer, but so many, everyone, so many. So if you're feeling drawn to Ash and what he's talking about, if you want some help to clear things, I thoroughly recommend Ash. I've experienced some of his work myself, and it's been absolutely life-changing. It's been profound. Still got tears in my eyes every time you play the music and talk about what you do, and I thoroughly recommend him. So do please get in touch with Ash, and I'll be putting all
There's a
the
ceremony.
details
There's
of
actually a ceremony on the 21st, on the weekend of the 21st, on a Saturday to the Sunday. So if anybody is interested, this is working with the fungi. I'll be singing for several hours through the night, and there'll be lots of beautiful things around it: flower blessings, water blessings, fire ceremony, adding our intentions and things to the fire offerings, a cacao and sound journey the next day. So a very, very holistic, beautiful package. If anyone is interested, then just drop me a message and we can talk more about it.
And I thoroughly recommend what Ash is talking about. And just get in contact with him and have a chat with him so that you can ask whatever you want to ask. As you can see, he's very honest and true. And follow your vibe. Follow your vibe, what feels right for you. Thank you so much, Ash. It's profound.
Thank
And
you
we've
for the
only really
invitation.
touched.
I really appreciate
You're,
it.
you're welcome. And really, we've only touched the surface, everybody. So do get in touch and find out more. So Ash, I always like to leave my guests with the last word. How would you like to leave everybody today?
With a sound.
Cool.
If you feel any resonance with anything, whether it's the musical mystery school, the works that I offer and support, then just reach out. I'm here to answer any questions, or just to share some love or my reflections on anything. So Thank you, everyone, for your presence and your time. I really appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ash. Absolutely beautiful. And where's the first portal call? I put it all in the show notes, but from this recording right now, what we're doing right now, what's the first port of call to people to get in contact with you?
I'd say Instagram is very easy for most people. Of course, you can share my WhatsApp contact with people, but Instagram for many people, it also gives a place to be able to look at some things as well. So you can find my personal page and as an artist and my own expressions as Ash Maraki. My well-being business is 22 Sacred Spaces, but you can connect to them all through one. So. Whichever is easiest. But all the links for things like the Musical Mystery School and things like that we can share. It's too many mouthfuls for everyone to remember.
Perfect. And I put all the details in the show notes.
Yeah.
Ash, thank you so much. It's been we've just touched the surface, everybody. So do get in touch if you're feeling drawn, feeling called to get in contact with Ash. Please do. It's going to be profound for you, I know. Thank you so much. And everybody have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody.
Wishing